Hello, welcome in. Today we're going to be looking at my journal that I've been using. So this is a origami journal that I started using in August, and you saw me set up or have set up the index to some degree. So I've gotten a couple of things done since then. I filled out a couple of the media logs, and basically this is just an update on how I feel about this book in general versus how I feel about the books that I was using before, which they're back in stock. I was thinking that they would never come back. This is Poluma, a brand that has, it's not amazing quality, but if you're just getting started into bullet journaling, this is perfectly adequate. It has decent thick paper. It's a dot grid. You can tell that like one is physically way thinner than the other. When I got the origami, I was actually kind of worried I wasn't going to know how to fill it up, which is one of the reasons that I added like the media consumption pages. So if we go through, we can see that this is how it looks once it's been gotten filled out. Um, for the reading log purposes, because that's kind of what this video is about to a degree, I'm thinking of starting an actual dedicated book for a reading log. And so it's not just reading log, it's going to be media consumption. So I'm going to have video games and books and movies, maybe television series, keep track of them that way together. So I'm going to have a way to record that information. I was just looking at Notebook Therapy has a pre-printed reading journal that you can get. And some of the things that they ask in there are, did you like this? Would you recommend it to a friend? Do you want more of it? Do you want a series of it or something? And that's something that I have not really added. But once I got to this page, once I got to Creativity Inc. Over here, which was October, middle of October, I got to the point where I realized I do want that kind of question of, would I like to recommend this to somebody? Did I even like it myself? Because like, yeah, the star logs work for a section like Wildwood. I did not enjoy my time reading Wildwood, but just flipping through, what does a 1 star mean? Because like that's a hard gauge. So I think I might adapt a couple of different spreads where I'll have like the Notebook Therapy has a page where you have just the covers and then you record just the star ratings, and then farther into the book you have, hello cat, you have other pages that will be short reviews, and then a full page of long review. And then they also have 2 page spreads that are the full review entirely. So I'm not quite sure what sort of setup I want to do. So I'm looking forward to that being a fluid thing. And then as we flip forward, I've also been doing, I call it a 2 week sprint, but it's not 2 weeks exactly. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's 16 days of a sprint. And this was really great in August and September when I was very, very stressed out and I kind of didn't know what I was doing. And I was leaving this page out specifically. I do have my, over here, I have my tracker set up for like things that I want to track. Ignore toothpaste, mouthwash. I've been very bad about actually taking care of my teeth this month because of stuff, real life drama and whatnot. But over here on this page, I've gotten to the point where I enjoy setting up. So one of the things that's changed from this layout versus one of the ones that was earlier is I did my layout with black. So I had a black outliner for it, and it's fun to decorate. And I did like white pen. This was the Posca white pen I was trying to use, and I don't like the look of it. It's too thick. It's just, I think I had to do 2 coats as well. I didn't enjoy it. The setup idea, I like the idea of it to a degree, but there's some things where like if I didn't leave this page open, I wasn't looking at it. So like now you can see that I have more things to do. They're just not being recorded here. So that's frustrating. Then like I decided to add a little note like, honey, my cat has a vet appointment December 9th, but this doesn't go to December 9th. So I wanted to make sure that I left myself a note for that because that's just 3 days later after the 6th. So things like that where like I might use this more if I had more stickers. I kind of just like, I set it up right now since most of November and then like the latter half of October, I will set up the page and then I'll decorate it to some degree and then I'll just kind of ignore it. I'll put in some things that I know I need to do, appointments and stuff, but generally I'll just ignore it and I'll close the book. which when you close your book, you're not using it, I have noticed. I also had the issue where I relocated where my journal was sitting for part of the time, and that's not good either. So yeah, I did set up, so because this page over here has gotten filled, Chris Tales will be the last entry on this page. Once this page is filled, I needed to have more. So I decided to do this setup. So I will fill out this page, but I did not do a second page. Whereas like the first one, I did 2 back to back, like that, where I had 8 total for a section. This is just going to be 4, kind of because once I realized I wanted to do a reading journal, I didn't want to hard commit to this. So there's that. So I even didn't do too many decorations and stuff. And this washi tape I had to cut down to make it fit. It's actually a 15 millimeter washi tape instead of a 10. So I had to cut it, and I had to do like 3 different cuts, and it was driving me crazy. And it's still not perfect, and it drives me a little bit crazy, but you know, I'm not going to be looking at this page long term. It'll be fine. So, but yeah, moving forward, I think having the 16-day spread, maybe the days are too narrow. That's one thing that I've noticed, is that like I'll run out of space while writing, but then on other days where nothing is happening, it's nice to have the space just open. So maybe I make my days fatter. Instead of being, right now they are 5 grid, I move them to 10 grid wide and move that way. Maybe, I don't know. I know my count is off on this side. My count's fine on this side, I think, but this one's off. Or they're both off. They're both off because this one has 4, this one has 5. How did that happen? Oh, I see how that happened. So I went, you're supposed to, so, okay. Let me flip back to the first one. You're supposed to go 1 dot grid in, not 2. Another one? Yeah, so like this one, I went 1 in, this is 2 in, but then see how this one is 1 in and 1 in, and this one fills more of the page because every single box is the same size. This one I like better than having them askew just a little bit, because like this one side will be thinner and these ones won't be. So I'll just need to adopt this, leave 1 dot grid open on each side versus having 2 open on each side. If you do leave 2, it leaves more room for like in the bleed in the center decoration, so that's fine. I don't mind that. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and start, not today because I don't have the energy to, and I'm not quite sure what I want to set up. I'm going to start up a reading journal. My only hesitation is I'm not sure if I want to actually do it in the Poluma book itself. I'm fine with the amount of pages. That doesn't bother me. But I know the books that, because I have like 6 of these that I've used before I got the origami, and I know flipping through them eventually after a while the ribbon starts to feel like it's going to pull off. So that concerns me a little bit. And the page thickness, like I said, it's adequate. It's perfectly fine. The one thing about the page thickness here is that you can see a little bit of ghosting from like the micron. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but there's a line right through here from the micron page from this side. And this is not a micron. This is a Pilot G2 rollerball or something like that. It's my chunkier black pen, and like it's a regular writing pen, but you can see that there's ghosting happening coming through, and that's frustrating to me. And even whenever I have the where are you? Where are you? I had a couple of instances where I used the same pen and I tried to cover up with the Signo white pen, and it just sort of turned to blue and didn't actually cover it up. And I don't know why, because like that pen has worked before to cover up this ink, and I don't know if it's the page combination, like the chemical combination of the page, because when I've used those 2 pens in the Poluma books, it was fine, but for some reason in the origami it doesn't want to work. So I'm actually going to, thanks to Erin Smith on YouTube, she has linked a couple of videos with her art paint pens, and one of them is the white one that she uses for most of her corrections. So I'm going to buy that set eventually just to see how it works, because the Poscas don't work at all, and the Signo kind of works just barely. I thought the Poscas would because they're paint pens, but for some reason they don't want to. At least the white one doesn't want to. So that's frustrating. So, but for the reading journal, I might do Poluma. I do have an Archer and Olive book that I did get for myself. And this sounds crazy. I think I might just buy a second Archer and Olive book to do for my reading journal, because I feel like I want my reading journal to be higher quality of a book so that I'm more likely to use it, because I know that these spreads have worked for me before whenever I was using, because I knew that bullet journaling worked for me when I used Poluma, because again, I have like 6 of these. So moving into the more expensive origami book was completely fine. And now that I've tried the reading journal in this book, I feel like it's only natural to feel comfortable to upgrade to Archer and Olive. Whereas if I had started with an Archer and Olive book, that would have been too expensive. I would have been too afraid to ruin the pages, and I'm kind of over that now. So I think, so the Archer and Olive book that I currently have is from the winter sale. It's like a Nordic snowflake looking thing. I love that, but I don't think I want that book specifically, that cover design book, to be my reading journal. And if I do, I'll just buy a second one later if it's still for sale. I'll pop an image of it on screen so you can see. I will also link you to the Amazon listings for the origami and the Poluma, because it's now available on Amazon again. Right now it only has this teal color and then a gray color, but they have made other colors in the past, like a brown leather color and a black, and they've also done like a yellow, I believe. So I don't know why they perhaps haven't had it, or maybe it's just that one listing only has the 2 colors, but they do have other colors besides just this one. And the origami has been fine for most of the stuff. I have not tried fountain pen ink inside of it, but like there hasn't been too much ghosting. The worst ghosting is from the Signal Ball, and then the other worst ghosting is from, where are you? So here's my calendar page, right? And I use a stamp ink in order to stamp this, and the stamp ink should be perfectly fine, except it's not. It has heavy ghosting on this paper, and I don't know why, because I vaguely remember when I got this origami book, it was advertised as being like 120 GSM. So I don't know if the ink is just like alcohol based ink. I have no idea. I'll have to take a look and read the label and let you guys know. Anyways, thank you for joining me for this really quick update on how I'm liking my origami book and potentially moving into something else. I'm not sure what I will use this Poluma book for. Now I have 2 that are this color that have not been used. They're still in their plastic. So we'll see. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely evening. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let me know if you want to see more bullet journaling type stuff. Bye.